Imagine a 14-year-old sitting in class. They've memorized algebra formulas, learned the capitals of every state, and can recite the Pythagorean theorem without blinking. But when the same student feels overwhelmed by anxiety, faces bullying, or can't understand why they can't get out of bed in the morning, no one ever taught them how to handle that. We prepare kids for standardized tests, but not for personal crisis, and that gap has real consequences. As someone who has seen the impact of mental health challenges on both children and adults, I've come to believe that early education, not just crisis intervention, is the key. I've researched, I've listened, and I've lived it. Whether you're a parent or a sibling, a teacher or coach, or even just a friend, mental health affects someone you love. It affects our families, our schools, our workforce, and our communities. That's why I believe adding mental health and wellness classes to school curriculums is not just a topic, but a core subject. Here's why. It would normalize conversations about mental health, equip students with essential coping tools, and reduce long-term mental health issues and costs for society. Let's start with the normalization. Right now, mental health is the elephant in the classroom. According to the National Alliance of Mental Health, 1 in 6 U.S. youth age 6 to 17 experience a mental health disorder each year, but most don't get any help. Why? Because of shame. Because we haven't taught them that it's okay to talk about it. In the same way schools teach physical education to encourage healthy bodies, we need to encourage mental health education to encourage healthy minds. When students learn about depression and anxiety the same way they learn about nutrition or exercise, it sends the message that this is normal, this is human, and there is nothing wrong with asking for help. Now let's talk about coping tools. Teaching kids on how to manage emotions, resolve conflict, and set boundaries isn't extra, it's essential. The CDC reports that when schools integrate social emotional learning, or SEL, students show improved emotional regulation, behavior, and academic performance. Imagine if instead of punishing a student for an emotional outburst, we taught them how to identify their triggers. Instead of ignoring signs of anxiety, we gave them simple tools like breathing exercises, mindfulness, journaling, or how to communicate their needs. These are not luxuries, they are life skills. In some cases, they're life-saving skills. Now at the bigger picture, according to the World Health Organization, half of all mental health conditions begin at age 14, yet most go untreated. That means we're missing the window to help children before their struggles escalate to lifelong challenges. Untreated mental illnesses impact graduation rates, job performance, relationships, and even their physical health, and carry a massive financial burden. The National Institute of Mental Health estimates that untreated mental illness costs the U.S. over $200 billion a year in lost earnings and productivity. So what if we invested early? Instead, when we teach students how to understand and care for mental well-being, we don't just survive, we help them thrive. We reduce the risk and crisis later on, and we empower them with language and tools. And we send a powerful message that mental health is just as important as physical health. So what do we do now? We make the bold and necessary choice to include mental health and wellness classes in our schools, not just as an afterthought, but as a priority. Because doing so will, 1, normalize mental health conversations, 2, equip students with essential coping strategies, and reduce long-term personal and societal consequences. This is not just about policy, it is about people. Your children, your neighbors, and your students. So talk to your school boards, bring up the PTA meetings, and share this message with educators and community leaders. Because if we can teach algebra and U.S. history, we can and should teach children how to care for their minds. The brain is just as vital as the body, and it's time our schools taught that truth out loud. Let's give our next generation what we didn't always have, the education to understand their minds and support and take care of them. Thank you.
Good job.